welcome to Christ in Culture. My name is Pastor Jeff Short, and today I'm going to be talking about Halloween. Every year, Halloween rolls around, and I just happened to grab hold of an advertisement at a local fast food, at a local convenience store, and it brings up all of the popular images now that we have of Halloween. And it's been my opinion over the last decade or so that Halloween is one of the worst holidays that we celebrate every year. And the reason it's bad is because there is practically nothing in it that is of redeeming quality. It's not like Christmas by any means. Christmas marks the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. It's not like the 4th of July, which is a memory, a celebration, looking back to the founding of our very nation. It's not like that. It's not like Easter, which is a celebration of the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. It's not like almost any other Halloween is not like any other holiday that is on the calendar. It's a negative Halloween holiday. Look at this advertisement. Scary stuff, fear minder. It's got a picture of this clown that I guess is in a Stephen King's movie and novel that terrorizes people. It's a negative Halloween holiday. And yet, we find that Halloween is growing and growing and growing in popularity to the point where now, I don't know, it might even be second to Christmas as the holiday most spent money on or most enthusiastic about. For example, this year, even before October, the month of October hit, I began to see homes, children decorating, parents decorating their homes in Halloween decorations. This is before even October 1st. This is into September, and they're already well a month away, and they're already getting their homes decorated. Now, it used to be that Halloween was kind of a minor holiday. The big thing would be the kids trick-or-treating. You'd go trick-or-treating and get your candy, and that was it. There might be a few things happening on Halloween. I know when I was a kid, we would all go up to the fire hall in the local town. We get some fire trucks going around the block, and we'd get on the fire truck, and they had rides, free rides for the kids, and you would go down there and you would get your candy x-rayed to make sure there were no harmful needles or pins or something in there that might hurt kids, which brings up a whole other topic. Why would someone put needles and razor blades in candy? To be evil on Halloween. And Halloween has been traditionally associated with this kind of evil, witches, devils. In fact, for a long time in Detroit, Michigan, there was that Devil's Night, which was before Halloween, and people would actually set cars on fire, set abandoned buildings on fire, set dumpsters on fire, do all kinds of mischief like a devil or demon would do. Just a bad thing. Now, the police had to finally eventually get that under control, but there were people who were, it was almost like a riot in some areas on the so-called Devil's Night. And then that was the night before Halloween. Now, Halloween has been growing in popularity, like I said before. When I was a kid, it was just a rather minor holiday, but today it's grown into this huge thing. And I want to warn parents against turning it into a huge thing. If we look through this little flyer here, we'll see all kinds of different themes. And they're all visually disturbing themes. For example, if you look at this theme, for example, you've got grave tombstones. You've got some kind of a fiendish creature like a zombie. Just things that get into kids' heads and terrorize them. Yes, that's the word, terrorize them. They have nightmares about it. You have the themes of skulls. You have the themes of, like this, murder, mayhem. You have skeletons, dead things. You have haunted homes, haunted houses, evil spirits lurking inside these things. You have pumpkins that are somehow, in this depiction, are killing someone. This is almost like a rape scene. You know, why is this going on in a civilized society? Why is this holiday, Halloween, which is, when you stop to think of it, holiday is short for holy day. Why is this celebrated on our calendar? I'll tell you one reason, main reason this is popular. Because candy companies and other businesses who make profits on Halloween want it to grow. They want it to get bigger. And so they're using you and they're using your kids to advance their business interests, and at the same time, they don't care about your kids. They don't care about the effects of Halloween on children. They're more concerned about making a profit, sadly, and it's more about self-interest. Now look at this thing here, this Baphomet. Says Bay City, Michigan, Edson incident. You know, why would that be a part of Halloween? This Baphomet, this satanic, devilish, goat-horned creature. Here's one, haunted home. And they show a apparition in the background, the kind that you would have with the occult, the seances, where you conjure up departed spirits. And that is, it says actual funeral home closed due to mysterious reasons. Okay, so it's just, they're trying to get a story going there. This magazine is called a Fear Finder. So it's where you find Michigan's scariest places. So it's playing on this whole idea of fear, and that's a good thing for them. They try to get people to join in to a fear fest. So you have to question parents who would actually want their children to go about trying to find a place where the biggest fear is. Now, if you look at this, you have like a zombie-like creature walking on a zombie paintball safari. So they're linking up this with Halloween. This is the kind of stuff that kids would dress up as, zombies, The Walking Dead kind of a theme. Here is a real, actually the thing of nightmares. And I don't see how any parent would ever want anything close to this and their children participating in any way. You've got this clown, you've got this evil clown, and that's a big theme among horror movies. The clown has a smiley face, but it's really evil and demonic. Then you have this person here, another clown, who has a big stick, like a baseball bat with barbed wire around it. Evidently, they're going to use that to slash people. They're going to hit people over the head and kill them and maim them. Then you have some other gruesome looking clowns. And then you have this girl clown who has an axe in her hand, so she's going to chop off somebody's head. It's just, what is the imagery that Halloween promotes. It's one of fear, it's one of horror, it's one of fright. And why would you want to do that? Why would you want your children exposed to any of this? Here they have all kinds of witchcraft labs, conjuring up hand-stitched, costume-made masks. Okay, so they're coming up with the most gruesome, gross, grotesque mask, and they're saying, hey, come out here and get your mask for Halloween so you can wear one of these grotesque masks. Look at this thing. Slaughtered at sundown. Haunted house and hayride, souvenir and concession stand. Slaughter begins at dusk. Slaughter begins at dusk. So you have violence linked together. You have violence linked with Halloween so that you can go to a party. Kids can go to some haunted house and see people getting murdered and slaughtered and beheaded and dismembered and all kinds of, really violent things. Here's again, there's like a demon or the Grim Reaper. He's got a knife. He's got a harvest knife, scythe, I think they're called, scythe, and it says Slaughterhouse, Game of Bones Maze. So this thing is coming at you, and that's supposed to be a good thing. You're supposed to want to go to that. Here's a haunted house, psycho vision, psycho clown. Some murderous psycho clown that you're supposed to give your kids permission to go see. And that's supposed to be really, really exciting. Now here is really something that is another theme of Halloween. You actually have a haunted house and it's showing a possessed girl. And this is one of the sicker themes, but it's a very, very dark theme. And you see this at Halloween too. You see possession. You see the exorcist. Some kids might go trick-or-treating and portray themselves as the exorcist. And then you have others who would portray themselves as a possessed girl. It's just really, really sick to see what is taking place in our culture. This is supposed to be a civilized culture. It's supposed to be a Christian, Judeo-Christian culture. And all of this is now taking place, and it's being promoted, and it's growing, and it's supposedly part of the whole scene for Halloween every year. And what I'm seeing more and more as the years go by is when you walk by the sidewalk of homes, you're going to see more and more and more elaborate costumes that kids get into. And the gory costumes, they come equipped with all kinds of really sophisticated stage costumes, like blood, real blood, depicted real blood, and they're very authentic, and which is a problem. Here's another. It says rotten manor, feel the terror creep up behind you. So they're promoting this feeling of horror. And here's a clown, an insane clown with a chainsaw, and that's depicting these chainsaw murders, these movies that Hollywood is putting out, horror genre. And that's a big thing now with Halloween. The horror genre movies appear. And so they have on cable 24/7, the day before, the day of, and the day after Halloween, 24/7 horror movies. So you sit there and you'd watch all these terrible things happening before your eyes. Now, is it a wonder why there are so many mental illnesses in our society? Is it a wonder why kids are on heavy medication at schools, have to get through the day, they have to be on medication? Is it a wonder why so many people are seeing psychiatrists and psychologists and therapists, and families have to use the services of a family therapist? Is it a wonder when you're putting this kind of garbage into your head, what do you expect that is going to come out? Now, why would a family promote anything like Halloween? Why would parents, why would normally pretty level-headed people, why would they want anything to do with part of this? Here is a vampire depicted here. You've got the fangs and the blood, and the vampire eats the blood of people. Why would you want that kind of imagery into your child's head? Or why would you go to any kind of attraction that would have that kind of stuff? It's just mind-boggling why parents would even let their children or even promote any of this, even in fun. Here's again an insane clown, and here's the chainsaw, and it's all bloody. So the guy's been whacking off people's heads and arms and legs and dismemberment and that kind of thing, and that's supposed to be fun? This is insane. This is crazy. Why people would put up with this, why there would be any kind of market for this. Why would any parent in their right mind want to buy into any of this kind of garbage? It's just beyond reason why anybody would do that. Well, Halloween, I don't know if you know, but Halloween means hallowed Eve, All Hallows Eve. And it's a day before All Saints Day. And All Saints Day was a custom celebration of the church where the saints of the past were remembered. It was a day where particularly holy people, role models in the established Christian church, were remembered, and All Hallows Eve was the day and the night before All Saints Day, and it started off as nothing at all related to what we see today, but it has grown into this thing that is not helpful, is very harmful, and any parent who really promotes this in the life of their children, you have to question, you have to say, what are you thinking? What on earth would cause you to want to do this? And I think people need to raise the question, because obviously these people are promoting this. They're letting their children participate in these things, and you have to ask yourself, why would a parent put themselves in a position to being the promoter of evil in the life of their child? Well, it's because they're not thinking about what's happening. They're not thinking about what's taking place. They're not even processing it through the normal mental processes. They are just simply buying into this culture in our society. They're just letting the stream of culture come through, and they're just swimming and letting their kids swim in that same river of culture. Well, we can't trust our culture anymore. We can't trust it. At one point in this very nation, it was a semi-Christian country. We never were a totally Christian nation. But there was a point when we were a semi-Christian nation, and you could somewhat trust the institutions of our society to somehow protect your children. You could count on people in the culture being aware of the difference between right and wrong, good and evil, and you could somehow lean on them to, when your child was away from you at school, in the homes of another person, in the town, you could count on their common standard of decency and right and wrong, and you could somewhat trust your culture, your society, your town, to not let anything get out of hand. Well, today we cannot trust our culture. We cannot trust our society because what they're giving us now is this stuff. They're giving us this stuff here that is diabolical, it's evil, it's satanic, it's harmful, and they're letting children and they're inviting children to participate in something that is actually evil. And we see that all over the place now today. And we have to ask ourselves, what can be done? Well, if you're a parent, do not let your children participate in these evil things. Don't let your child go to the haunted house and see people dismemberment reenactments, murder reenactments. Don't let your children go to a witch's home and see spells and potions and incantations. Don't let your child go to a graveyard depicted where there are evil spirits and ghosts and all kinds of stuff like that. You say, well, some of that's just harmless fun. There are ways to have fun when you don't have to use the devil and you don't have to use all these other means. You can have good, clean, honest fun, and you don't have to have all these satanic things that come into play. And, it's just a matter of not being a part of this stuff. And so we have to guard our kids from it, and we also guard ourselves from it. I mean, don't go to parties that have this kind of stuff that is a part of the agenda for the party. Don't yourself make a big deal about this. A lot of times with kids, it's driven by the parents, unfortunately. It's a parent-driven thing. These kids are not usually coming up with their own ideas and saying, hey, I just want to go see this clown with a chainsaw dismember people, or like this, hey, I'd like to go and see these pumpkins that come alive rape this girl at knife point and then dismember her. They don't come up with this stuff. Adults are the ones that get them excited about this stuff. And one of the biggest problems in the problem of Halloween today is that the adult parents are the ones who are buying all of these gruesome, evil-looking skeletons, frightening, scary images for the kids. They're the ones that buy all these decorations. Kids aren't in the stores buying decorations to put all over the front of the home. The parents are the ones. So parents are the ones that are primary to blame for the rise of Halloween. And they're not even thinking about it. They're saying, oh, well, that looks funny. That looks fun. That looks interesting. I think I'm going to grab and buy this stuff. What's wrong with having just a pumpkin and leaving it at that? Why does there have to be this huge, next to Christmas, Halloween is the most decorated holiday. It shouldn't be that way because there's nothing there of any good. There's nothing there of any substantive value. It's just a strange, odd, kooky, weird, bizarre day when people, in a sense, act their most foolish on this day. And they dress up in the most outlandish costumes, and for shock value, they submit themselves to some of the worst kind of scenes that one could be a part of. And somehow it's okay because, it's Halloween. I can dress up like an assassin with a gun and go around pretending I'm killing people, but it's okay, it's Halloween. No, this is crazy. as parents, we need to wake up and we need to say, look, the culture that we live in is going downhill fast. The culture that I live in is being caught in a downward death spiral. And part of the expression of that death spiral is the holiday of Halloween. And so I have to ask myself one question. Am I going to be a promoter of this downward decline and this Halloween holiday, or am I going to resist it? And I think it's pretty obvious to any Christian who values their faith that you're going to have to oppose it. You're going to have to actually say, look, we limit ourselves to just a few little things on Halloween. If you want to, if your child wants to dress up, they can dress up in some good, wholesome costume that doesn't have any connection with the occult, no connection with Satan, no connection with violence, no connection with the dead or graves, no connection to slaughter, and no connection to all these dark things. That's fine. Some harmless costume that kids can have fun with, that's fine. They want to be a policeman, they want to be an Indian, they want to be a fireman. You know, all these fun things to do. They don't have to go into the dark world on Halloween to have fun. If they want to go to a fall festival or harvest festival, as they call, and have cider and donuts and all kinds of fall food and activities and stuff like that, hayride, corn maze, that kind of thing, alternative things for this time of the year, that's fine, great. But as Christians, I think we have to put our foot down and say, no, we're not going to participate with the culture in decline. We're not going to participate and aid and abet that decline. We're not going to fall in line and be a part of this because it's evil. It's harmful, and we're not going to hurt our children. We're not going to hurt the other kids in the family and in the culture. We're going to stand as light in the darkness, and we're going to celebrate things properly. We're not going to participate in everything the culture tells us to do that. Well, I hope that's been an encouragement to you, something to think about. We'll see you back next week on another edition of Christ and Culture. God bless.